You actually thought I was gonna forget about you too? Huh? You thought I was gonna not speak about you? I know I did a message for my kings, and I know you watched it too. But this message is for my queens. Those to the world, you are God's gift to man. But inside, you are still that little girl. Yes, this message is for you. See, I love you, but it's your requirement to love yourself. Let me validate that because, see, you exist and from one spiritual being to another. So we are all about different makeups and cultures and diversities, and these are the things that make us unique, right? But we are all family. We are all about the human race. How easy it is for us to forget that we are all separated by 6 degrees. Someone knows someone who knows you. The world is big and vast, but it is not that big that someone does not know you. So your actions and your displays matter. And I know it's not easy being you, queens. You put such energy when you step outside to the world. See, I know that the last thing that you do is you hit that mirror to make sure that everything is picture perfect. I understand that. And it is very splendid and titillating to the eye. But what matters most is how you doing inside. So this message goes out to the little girl. The little girl that is hearing my voice. This message is for you. So we ain't forgot about you, queens. Little one. I understand that you have to navigate your day sidestepping dangers unbeknownst to you. Looking at the world as clear as you know how. Not knowing that the next hello is the one that is setting up your demise. I know I'm talking to someone. But now you're at a breaking point. Yes. See, I also know that, thank you, my angels, inside you there is an underlying energy that is very, very wounded. See, you haven't forgotten about the things that have fallen short. No, you haven't. And some of you have joined that sorority called denial. You've allowed your circle, your environment, your girlfriend to form the way you see the world, but you don't realize that the way you see the world is only shared by a commonality of your mindset. Why do you think I say birds of a feather flock together? Why do you think I say that? Because you both got to have a commonality together, your understanding. So they become your foundation. But little do you know, the foundation that was needed is always found above. It is your angels, your spirit guides, and they are governed by your God. So I know there's somebody right now from the outside. You have convinced your environment that you are at your most solid state. It seems like you got it all together, doesn't it? But you also know this. There's an inkling in the back of your mind that doesn't sit right. There's something that always keeps to pop up that you can't keep down. You know why? Because it's requiring your attention. You know why it's requiring that? It's because that little girl inside knows your truth. Yes, you see her every day. When you wake up and you go into the mirror, you brush those pearly whites and you plan your day out. Some of you don't even end the day before because it is continual. May it be agenda, may it be direction. It is in motion. But we also know that deep down inside you wish you could stop. But somehow that fear, that insecurity has had you guide your feet. And what you thought was controllable, you realize the price was far too grave. Let me tell you something. Like I told the fellas previously, as long as you breathe, you always have an opportunity to change what you don't like. But before you can change anything you don't like, you got to acknowledge it has a placement in your life. Therefore, you must acknowledge its existence because it's found in you. And let's put this in perspective. I know that when the word fortitude was written, there was an image of a woman because you internalize everything. That is why God gave you the gift of nurturement. You are the peacekeeper. You make the jagged edges smooth. I understand that. That is why you were given the title woman. But with that title became a responsibility that was fostered through your progression, your growth. Why do you think that you always find yourself saying this? Gerald, I got these voices in my head. My mind won't stop moving. Because that is nothing but your discernment. Some may not know that word. That's your intuition. Some may not know that. That's your conscience. That's your spirit. That is the foundation of what makes you you. But somehow, because your environment that you lay your head, you wake up from a bed. Oh yeah, you know I'm going there. And your environment may be heaven sent, but there's no peace of mind there. Why is that? Your environment from the outside looks like you got it going on, but you broken inside. You're barely holding it together. Every day you have to give concessions. So more or less you are still taking a choice to pay to play. Why? Why, Queens? Why, sweetie? Don't you realize your life is not for sale? Hmm? Don't you realize society wants to only use you up till you don't exist? Why do you think they put the people out there in the media? They systematically do that to influence those who think that way. How many times have you found yourself saying, yeah, she's just like me. But if you take a step back, you see she's just as broken. She's broken because that's a choice. So let's go there. Some of you have convinced yourself from that moment. I did a little research um, some time back, and I realized that they said that for women uh, between the ages of, they base it from 14 to 35, that sexual assault, incest, molestation, the probability of that occurring is 1 in 4. And it is a 1 in 3 that is someone that they know. May it be a family member or someone that had connection to your life. Let me tell you something. You have to be able to have courage to look at yourself to heal. Let me tell you something. If you're walking around with that wound, it was not your fault. I know somebody's crying right now because you've been holding that boulder of pain in your chest. And that's actually had you convinced of this. You don't have the courage. I'm going to speak it anyway. Deep down inside, you hate men. You hate all men. Yeah, you do. You hate them because of that one person that broke that sanctity of your innocence. And every time that you see someone that reminds you of that, it could be a stranger, you want to take that opportunity to lash out, unbeknownst to you, anything about it. Some of you may have convinced yourself that you said, well, you know what, Gerald? Because you've been raised in an environment where maybe your mother, maybe your father, usually it's the mom, you were the punching bag. When mama wasn't right, she took it out on you because maybe you look like your daddy. Oh, let's speak it. But you'll come to realize that deep down inside, she didn't have the fortitude to heal herself. But I also know this. We're talking generations where it was condoned and taught to not talk about your woes. Suppress them. So why you think people are, proverbially breaking the straw that breaks the camel's back, and they're killing people, doing things that are so heinous because they've reached their breaking point. I know this. Some of you may be young in your age and you have children, and you're saying to yourself, well, Gerald, my life was not supposed to be this way. I just wanted someone to love me. But I have my children. Those are my babies. I've got unconditional love. Actually, you don't. You don't. I'm going to tell you why you don't. Because until you decide to love yourself first, which means you have to be vulnerable to admit to yourself that you've been hurt. You've been traumatized. There's been a violation of your boundaries. Until you look at that, the cycle will repeat. Oh yeah, I'm telling the truth. That's right, Queens. You're looking at your daughters right now and you're saying that'll never happen to me, but guess what? I guarantee you, a nickel to a dime, your mother looked at you and did the same thing. That'll never happen, but guess what? But you still are walking the same steps of your mother. Or whoever the significant one that was in your development. It could have been your aunt. It could have been the family friend. Whoever spent the most time in your life. You built your personality around them. You emulated what your environment is. So if you was raised in an environment where the door kept swinging, there was always a new man. You learn two things. Men are disposable, and they ain't going to stick around. So guess what? Instead of being disappointed after watching them come and go, you built a wall up. I'm speaking it to somebody. You're doing yourself an injustice. Because guess what? When you decide to love yourself, that means to be honest with yourself. To look at the things that hurt you. You will find your voice. And maybe you might not have the person that wronged you in your midst. But you got to make the decision to heal yourself for yourself. But I can tell you this, though. In the divine time and moment, you will see them again. Oh, trust and believe. I know there's somebody right now saying, well, Gerald, I see them every day and I wish they would never exist. Well, guess what? Don't you realize those connections? There's a lesson in that you have yet to see, because you're allowing your anguish, you're allowing your pain, you're allowing your disappointments to block who you're destined to become. Because see, your reality is what it is now. Doesn't mean that's going to play out unless you choose it to be. That means you settled. I know there might be somebody right now and you've been saying, well, Gerald, I think I found the right man. No, you didn't. What I tell you, Queen, stop looking for your man. Stop. I don't say that out of being mean. I'm saying the man that's going to make all jagged edges smooth will be a spiritual man. Period. Period. Don't you? Okay, I'll point this out. Watch this. Ready? Why is it that the traits that you desire for a man in all levels is the opposite of the man that you with? I know I'm talking to somebody. I know I'm talking to somebody. You saying I want somebody that's going to love and respect me. He's going to be responsible. He's going to be my rock and foundation, and he's going to be grounded. Well, if those are the desires that you need inside yourself, you must possess that first to attract it. But your validation is who you walk with now. So the question should be, why are you there? Why are they there? There's no consolation prize because, oh, well, we got kids, Drew. No. What's going on is there is a codependency going on. And then because you can't make them change. And I know sometimes, Queens, you do this. You will find someone that will be in your midst, and you will see something about them that you're enthralled about. You may see their potential, and maybe aesthetically they look a certain way. Mentally they may have a nice mouthpiece or something like that, but they're a work in progress, right? But you take it upon yourself to say, well, you know what? I'm going to bring this person into my life, and I'm going to motivate them to become who I want them to be. You don't have the power to change anybody but yourself. Why you think you're feeling what you're feeling? Because you're going against the grain. You can sit here until the cows come home, Queen, hoping that he's going to change. He won't change until he's ready to change. You'll be waiting a long time. And I'm saying that out of love. I'm not saying that out of spite, because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to feel emotionally safe. Because when you decide to be emotionally safe, guess what? That's what being free is. There's no fear there. There's balance on all levels. That's what being yoked is all about. So let's go there. And I'm going to throw this out there too. Because I know somebody deep down inside, you will have been hurting because you've been betrayed. There you have. I'm going to go there. Because I know this needs to go out to somebody. I feel your energy. You made a lot of concessions for this man. You trusted someone that did not deserve to hear you breathe, and now the reality is this. He got you splashed all over the internet. And you embarrassed. You're fearful because you're afraid that, one click away, somebody could see it. God forbid a family member. God forbid it be someone in your job, because we live in a technological age where, let me make this clear, y'all. Queens, let me let you know this if you don't know. For those who are looking for job progression, you do know every time you put a resume out, before the interview is even set, they contract people out to find everything about you. I know somebody's saying, well, Gerald, that's why I password protect everything. Does not matter. If you are on this internet, because remember, that's not privatized. You will never own a service provider. I'll do one better. You ready for this? I want to put this in your pipe and smoke it. Why do you think the last 3 years you've seen an influx of selfies? You know those pictures you take? First person you saw doing it was who? Yeah, Miss Kardashian. She made it. She made it. Yeah, call space space. Took a pretty girl, and she led the example. Eventually, everybody was taking. Sure, I got pictures all over the internet too. I do, but I make sure that it is always in a good light. Here's my point: because you don't own your service provider, because you don't own it, guess what? Everything you put out goes to a giant server. Everything. Everything. You know why they do that? Because you got to understand the government sees everything. The NSA sees everything. So guess what? They have a system that does facial recognition. They do. I'll do one better. You remember, all of a sudden now they were asking for DNA swabs when you had to get your checkups. Eventually you had to do a DNA swab. Where do you think that information goes? It goes on a computer. Where do you think that information on the computer goes? So everything about you is stored somewhere. So every time you go to social media, it doesn't matter if it's privatized, sweetie. You keep convincing yourself, oh well, yeah, that's why I pay that money so that the average Joes can't see me. You put adult pictures out there, or you willfully doing it, or they've done that to you. Where do you think that information go? Now I'll do one better. It could be years from now. It could be tomorrow. It could be next month. You just say, well, you know what? I see the job I want. Guess what? Right. That's what they're there to do. Because at the end of the day, their job is to make sure the right person can fit the bill. I know somebody pissed off right now, but come on now. Why? Let's go biblical on it. Why you keep hearing this? What's done in the dark comes to the light. It always does. That's not karma. Lastly, what you don't want to do. See, okay, I'll say this. Remember when the story broke on Love and Hip Hop and Mimi, Miss Foss had the storyline about the adult film, the video. That wasn't no damn. That was a adult film, and they cashed in on it. Regardless, but what she did not realize is, yeah, she may have benefited financially, but it was not enough to deal with the backlash that she's going to have to deal with for the rest of her life. What about her kids? I know she has a daughter now, but later on, family members, people you may know. Just look at it on there's just a safety aspect. You don't know who see what. You don't know. But I will tell you this though. For those who are embracing their spirituality, just know this. 2016 is the season of validation. And whatever questions that you may have had in your heart, I'm not talking about the aggression. I'm not talking about the things that were spawned negatively, because that was nothing but the devil dividing you from your steps. I'm talking about those genuine questions that you may have pondered. Heed my word, watch. You're going to get your validation one by one by one by one. And what's going to happen is you're going to come to understand why you were with that person, why you're not with that person, and why you are where you are. So, you know why that's playing out? Because, number one, God won't give you nothing that you can't deal with. But it's because we have free will. It's your responsibility how you react. That's why I don't know why y'all do this too. I'm saying this out of love, y'all. I am. Because I know somebody is sitting on the side of their bed and they're crying their eyes out and they're tired. And they don't understand why they did what they did. Number one, that was a divine blessing because you was not supposed to walk with that person. And God got you up out of there. I know somebody's saying, well, Joe, I got a child about that person. That does not matter in regards to your well-being. Your responsibility to be the best person for you so you can be the best person for your child. Period. At the end of the day, you got to handle your business. You're going to come to understand, like, for example, you've heard stories where, like, somebody's making money off of your pain. Why do you think the shows are projected the way they do? You think they don't have a psychologist? Or somebody sitting down saying, well, you know what, because a lot of stuff that you see out there are nothing but tests. Why do you think, like, the music channels and all the secondary channels have those shows? Like, why, you know what I'm talking about, putting people out in bad light. They're doing that because somebody's writing down the react. There's a study going on behind the scenes. Trust and believe that. Nothing's done by chance. But more importantly, you see this. Somebody hurts you. So you turn around and say, okay, I'm going to make you hurt. And what do? You go after whatever the person's possession is. I know someone saying, that's right, but little do you know, every time you go outside your character, you're going to pay for that. Like, for example, you see somebody, they involved, the next thing you know, they part, and then she's laid up with somebody that was with the guy that wronged you. But little do you know, not only did you give yourself to someone that will never deserve to hear you breathe, but you violated yourself more. So there's no benefit out of that because you compromised your dignity. And the question should be why? My queens, you are to walk in grace at all costs. So, when's the next time? When are you going to make that when are you going to take that time to have that conversation with him? You know he's waiting on you. He's waiting on you. You having dreams about the life that you wish to have, which very well can be. But God is not going to give you opportunities to squander them when you're not ready. That's why the one is nowhere in sight. But I will say this, though. He is a loving man. He's a spiritual man. And he is being prepared for the undertaking to love you. What's at stake is your heart. What's at stake is your state of mind and your emotional safety. But he must do that for himself. He's got to make sure he's right, because he holds the key to the other side of your life. So that's your legacy. Like I put in another video, you will be the ink to his canvas, and you will both go forth together. See, that's what dreams are about. So, how much is your life worth? Is it worth that stolen moment? Is it worth that lie that's being told to you? Don't you realize the devil will use everything he needs to stray you from yourself? I know, Queens, you sitting up in your 40s right now, and you broken. And you see all the men you've been with, and you're still lying to yourself because you won't heal. You refuse to because you have given up on yourself. I'm not giving up on you. That's why I pray for you. I pray for each and every one of you. So why won't you heal? Huh? It's time for you to heal, y'all. If you're constantly looking at society of illustration of what a woman looks like, you'll be deceived all the time. That's why your money look the way it does. I know I'm talking to somebody. You thinking about last night and what you had to go through. Yeah, I know you do. Thinking about the price that was paid. It's time for you to do something different and do something that matters, like loving yourself. I ain't got to tell you that. I ain't got to tell you that because you already know that, because you've been listening to what I'm saying. So be the exception to the rule and claim your life back. It is not defined by the size of your ass or how supple your breasts are. Only fools go after that. You do know that, right? If you constantly walking around like a lady of the night, you're only going to attract Johns. And they don't deserve to hear you breathe. But the one, he will be the one that will share that journey with you. It's up for you to do the work, y'all. Start loving yourself. Allow yourself to heal. Ground your feet. Speak your truth. Because you're not going to find your fairy tale. Fairy tales are nothing but illusions. You know how they paint it? No. That's why you won't find love in the club. That's why it's dark. That's why the music's so loud. That's why the drinks are so strong. They do whatever they can to distract you. So what? So you can wake up in a stranger's bed, driving home with a bunch of shame, and you know he don't care. He paid the price to get you, not to keep you. See your worth, queens. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. There's no such thing as a happy ever after for a kept woman. You're settling. And I know some of y'all say, well, Gerald, all I needed was the ring. But if there ain't no love in that, you might as well be another piece of furniture that he went out to allow dust to be on. Because he knew what it took to get you. Don't do yourself so. Love to hear from you. Stay blessed. Bye.